BitTensor's valuation went up by more than $500 million when the US government shut down Anthropic's leading model. Isn't that counterintuitive? When Fable got export restricted, BitTensor as an AI token appreciated. So that was over here. That's the first circle. But what happened over here? That's when Grayscale published a research paper trying to push BitTensor even higher. Now that did not work so well. BitTensor lost a lot. Almost all of the gains from the Fable shutdown evaporated. Now the reason why BitTensor appreciated upon news that were actually bad for artificial intelligence is that people figured out maybe it makes sense not to be 100% centralized with our AI efforts. Maybe it makes sense to also have decentralized artificial intelligence. So is this potentially an opportunity? Let's have a look at the data. Let's see who's buying and selling here long term. Let's see what's happening on the on-chain market. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. I hit my first million 3 years ago, and I did this mainly through active trading of altcoins. My track record is 100% transparent. It's linked down below. In the last 2 years, I published my trades in real time. We are currently at an all-time high if we include the current open positions. And yes, we made 47% per annum. The current positions are, of course, not visible here on YouTube, but in the premium membership. But all the closed positions, they are visible. And I don't know anybody else on YouTube that's willing to be as transparent, that's willing to share the entire trading history. In real time, by the way. This website updates in real time. So the numbers that you're seeing over here, they might already have changed once you visit. Now, BitTensor is building out its decentralized finance ecosystem. We will soon have a native money market. The testnet will go live next week. On the blockchain, we so far see 44 million of TVL. Now, that's not a big number, but at least the trend is positive and new applications are getting developed. The largest application that's currently tracked on DeFi Llama is Chutes. It has a quite constant flow of fee revenues, and it's offering decentralized compute that can be used for artificial intelligence. Now, some people on X, formerly known as Twitter, tried to push TAO massively, as in it can potentially go up by 500x. I'm not so sure if that's going to happen soon. I am sharing my views on various cryptocurrencies regularly on X as well. So if you are on X, then feel free to also check out the account of this channel. That's at Bitcoin Strat. Make sure that you follow the right account and not a fake account. This is the only real account. Now, very long term, the BitTensor price actually did not perform that well. This is TAO in US dollars on a logarithmic scale. We've got lower lows and lower highs along the way, and we're currently in the middle of the trading range. This here was the pump and subsequent dump triggered by the Anthropic Fable blockage. Here is BitTensor relative to the rest of the altcoin market. Again, we see lower lows over the years. Also, the highs tend to be lower. The potential risk versus reward is pretty balanced. Now, over the last months, Bitcoin actually underperformed the altcoin market. And so relative to BTC, BitTensor is actually doing fine. So that's then this chart over here. We could make the argument that over the last 12 to 18 months, TAO just traded in a range versus Bitcoin. But again, we're neither very high nor very low on that range. Now, where does the long-term underperformance on all of those charts come from? The answer is token inflation, as in there's more and more TAO tokens hitting the market. And when the demand doesn't grow as quickly as the supply, then of course the token has to underperform. How bad of a problem is that going forward? 1 year from now, we will have 13% more TAO tokens. Roughly half of the TAO tokens are locked, the other half unlocked. We've got daily emissions of 3,600 TAO. In US dollars, that's almost 1 million. Every single day. And so that's the minimum how fast the demand has to grow for BitTensor. For comparison, Bitcoin supply grows by roughly 0.8% per annum. That equates to 27 million of additional demand we need every single day. 800k versus 28 million. That's quite a difference. But again, the market cap of Bitcoin is 1.3 trillion. TAO's market cap is only 2.5 billion. So relative to the market cap, TAO needs to grow much, much faster. And we can see how this was a problem in the past. The price tends to go down from one cycle to the next. That's not true for the market cap. The market cap tends to peak at around 5 billion and it tends to bottom at around 2 billion. So here the absolute bottom was at 1.6 billion over here. or at 1.8 billion over here. Currently, we are at 2.6. Long term, it's the project's growth and the tokenomics that determine the price. Short term, it is attention. If enough people look at a particular cryptocurrency and they research that cryptocurrency, it tends to go up. Have a look at the social engagements over time. That's the bar chart versus the price of TAO. There's clearly a connection here, as in when there's more social mentions, the price goes up. When there's less attention, the price goes down. Recently, we tend to have low attention, which could be interpreted as a positive signal, right? We want to buy when there's very little attention. We want to sell when everybody talks about the asset. But there's also the effect of leverage, as in the last 24 hours, we had 69 million worth of trading volume on Binance on the spot market, and on the levered bets on the perpetual futures, we had more than 400 million worth of trading volume. The reason why the levered bets tend to have much more trading volume compared to spot is because the trading fees are lower. And so arbitrage bots can trade more quicker. Also, the people that don't want to hold an asset long term, they just use the 0.05% trading fees compared to, say, 0.2%, which is the typical transaction cost for the spot market, right? It tends to be 4 times higher. Now, most people that short-term speculate with TAO tend to be bullish on the asset, as in the longs have to pay the shorts to get price exposure. Recently, this tends to be a bit more balanced, as in we did get a bit of pessimism, maybe because of the long-term underperformance. But then it seems like over time, leverage in the asset is building up. This is the trading volume of BitTensor on the perpetual futures market over the long term. It tends to go up, while at the same time the price did not go up. So clearly there's more and more speculation with the asset. Here is the open interest, so the amount of bets that are currently on the price. This is also a measure of how much inherent leverage there's currently baked into the price. When this is high, that's dangerous. When this is low, that's good, because a lot of short-term leverage means the price is inflated. Little short-term leverage means the price is comparatively low, or at least not hyped up. The long-term trend is that there's more and more leverage entering the asset. And so more leverage means more volatility. It means more movement to the ups and downs. If there was less leverage, then of course the price would be much more stable. When enough people bet on the price, then market makers tend to manipulate the price short-term and induce liquidations. For example, here, when the price crashed, a lot of longs got liquidated. Prior to that, all the shorts got liquidated with the pump. So there's a reason why people say that the price is always moving in the direction of most pain. It is also partially because of manipulation. The market makers want to get the maximum people liquidated on their portfolio. Now, I always like to do back tests. I like to run simulations of buying and selling a particular asset, because I don't want to look at the news every day. I rather look at what used to work in the past and what's likely going to work in the future. That's personally how I'm able to outperform. Now, instead of just following the news and try to re-establish what should I do on a given day for a particular altcoin, I rather like to run simulations of buying and selling the asset, and then from those simulations infer what are the best trading rules for that asset. And I've done the same for BitTensor TAO as well. This comes from Bitcoin Strategy Analytics, the backtesting platform of the channel. And what we see over here, that's 40,000 backtests of the best moving averages for BitTensor. And here is the best combination. It is the 6-day versus 16-day simple moving average. That would have outperformed buying and holding by more than 100% every single year. Those are annualized returns. The maximum drawdown of that trading strategy is very comparable to just buying and holding. It's even a bit less. And so what that means for today is the following. The 6-day SMA went above the 16-day SMA. We got a golden cross, thus we should rather be bullish. But I think this strategy works best when we had strong movements in the past. As in, let's say we got a good rally before, and then suddenly, after a long run, then we get the death cross. Then we should probably rather be cautious. The same is true the other way around, right? If we go down for a while and suddenly we get the golden cross, then probably that medium-term bearish movement comes to a halt. This is the performance of that strategy over time. So we've got the BitTensor price in gray, and we've got the blue line, that's our portfolio line, measured in US dollars. And then here at the bottom, we've got the performance measured in TAO tokens. And so yeah, as I said, all of my trades are 100% transparent. And so we can also look at my history for TAO. Not every trade makes money, right? So over here, for example, I lost 2.5%. Here I lost 12%. And the recent trade in April, that made 36%. Now, every trade here has the attached messages behind those date stamps. We can just click on those and have a look at the time. So here we got a massive rally in TAO, then we got our death cross, and then subsequently, when I closed that position, we got our golden cross. At the time, it was a 6-day and 15-day SMA that worked the best. So that has slightly shifted, right? Now it's a 6-day and the 16-day. But yeah, if you're interested in just copy trading whatever I do, or at least get some inspiration, again, not every trade is profitable, but at least as per tendency, it might be useful to get some input, then feel free to check out Premium. The link is down below. There's also a 7-day money back guarantee. So in case you don't like Premium, just email me over here within the first 7 days and I will refund you, no questions asked. If you don't want to manually copy trade, but do automatic copy trading, you can also do that. That's for the annual subscribers. There is a dedicated website here with all the information as well. All those data points here also get updated in real time. So this is the relative valuation vault where we short altcoins. That's currently at 20% annualized. Last year, we got 44%. So yeah, BitTensor doesn't seem to be extremely expensive nor extremely cheap right now on pretty much any metric. Holding it long term can be dangerous given that there is quite a bit of token inflation. Every single day, almost 1 million of demand has to hit the asset. That demand currently gets partially built through leverage because there's more and more open interest on the perpetual futures. But that means there's also more volatility and that warrants to trade the asset more actively. And for that, the 6-day plus 16-day SMA is the best to determine death crosses and golden crosses. At least historically, that's what tended to work the best. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish here regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time here on YouTube or see you on Premium. Link to that pops up here on the screen. See you next time. Cheers.